Let me help you understand a problem like this. Find 3 consecutive odd integers whose sum is 75. So we got some vocabulary in here that we have to understand. We definitely need to know what a sum is. That means we're adding things together to get 75. We need to know what consecutive odd integers are. Okay, so consecutive meaning back to back, meaning if we're going odds, I can't go 3, skip over 5, and jump to 7. If they were consecutive, it would be 3, 5, 7. Those are 3 consecutive integers. Integers meaning we can't have decimals. They got to be whole counting numbers, both positives and negatives. Negatives aren't going to come into play in a question like this because our sum is a positive 75. So how do we go about a problem like this? Most kids, don't be this kid that says something plus something equals 75, and then you're just guessing and checking. Well, maybe it's a 19 plus a 21 plus a 23. You go and you check and you realize you're too small. You got to bump these numbers up to get high enough to get to 75. Okay, you could go about it this way. But the farther and farther you get into math, the more complex these problems get. This is not the route you want to take. Most students feel comfortable in this scenario because they can just sit there for a while and start plugging in numbers until they find the one that works. However, when we go away from integers and numbers become things like 5.38, I don't know many kids that are going to anticipate the first number being something like 5.38. Okay, so guess and check. It's a great method. But when you're in algebra, let's just rely on the algebra to help us understand how to get 75. I'm going to show you right now the quick, easy way to determine what that value is that you would need to start with and what its consecutive odd integers following it should be. So something plus something plus something equals 75. We want to start with this first term, and we don't know what it is. We need to figure out what it is. So in algebra, when we don't know what something is, we throw down a variable. Let's use p. Okay, so we're going to say p plus, now on this second one, won't this number, think about 19, 21, this next number is going to be 2 more than the previous number. Well, if the previous number is represented by p, the next one would have to be p plus 2 more, because you have to go 2 values up to get to the next odd integer. And then the next one after that, well, 21, we jump past 22, we go to 23. 23 is 4 more than the original. Remember, the original is represented with the p. So for this last term, we're representing that as p plus 4. Now, once I set up an equation, instead of guessing and checking forever and ever and ever, this one probably wouldn't take you too long, okay? But we want to just be able to create equations and then solve those equations from there. Again, this is our first term, unknown. Our second term is the previous term plus 2 more. And then our third term is the original term plus 4 more, because 19 plus 4 takes me to 23. Now you've set up your 3 terms, and we have some like terms that can be combined. So as I look at this equation I've created, I see a bunch of p's. So I need to combine all the p values. There's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to change that to just 3p by combining my like terms. Now, 2 also is a constant that needs to be combined with the other constant of 4. 2 plus 4 gives me 6. And now look at that. We're in a 2-step equation that we can solve pretty quickly. We're going to take away 6, cancels. Take away 6, takes me to 69, equals 3p. I divide by 3 to cancel. I divide by 3. I'm left with p equals 69 divided by 3, which would be 23. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up here, say if I guessed and checked, eventually I'll make my way to 23. I would imagine most kids will eventually figure it out. However, we want to be able to create these equations in algebra so we can solve quickly. All right, so 23, I'm going to put 23 up as my original. P is equal to 23, so that's where I'm starting. Consecutive odd integers, so we jump past 24, go to 25, and then we go past 26 on to 27. All of my terms are odd. They're all integers and they're consecutive. 23, 25, 27. Now let's add these all up, check to make sure they equal 75. 23, 25, 27, supposed to equal 75. 3 and 7 make 10, plus 5 more, puts a 5 down here. Carry your 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, boom, shakalaka, boom. We got it. And that's how algebra works, right? Guessing and checking. Too many kids rely on it. They just rely on it and they avoid trying to create equations when really that's the basis of the course of algebra. Learning how to create equations from scenarios, solve the unknowns using what you already are given. Hopefully this makes sense. Study hard and good luck on your upcoming test.